and watches.
We had a very Darrison by, let's go ahead, terrace chasing those for the bet, they had the pet. Well,
it was the stumble that was heard around the TV world, and it was Sirius, a California TV reporter, speaking nonsense while doing a live report from the Grammy Awards. A lot of people thought she had a stroke. She did not. Our Brian Burnell joins us from Hartford with a look at what did happen to Serene Branson. Brian?
Mike, that video, of course, is seen by millions of people on the internet. Serene Branson back at KCBS in Los Angeles, her TV station today. For the first time since that event at the Grammys on Sunday, it has now been diagnosed as a migraine with aura. She says she feels fine now. Last Sunday, not so much. A frightening few seconds for KCBS reporter Serene Branson as she tries to report live from the Grammy Awards.
A very heavy debatation tonight. We had a very Darrison by, let's go ahead, terrace chasing those for the bet, they had the pet.
She simply could not get the words out, no matter how hard she tried. Many who saw this thought she was having a stroke.
As soon as I opened my mouth, I knew something was wrong. I was having trouble remembering the word for Grammy. I knew what I wanted to say, but I didn't have the words to say it.
It was a language problem, a processing problem with language we call an aphasia. The most common causes would be stroke or seizure. The only other common cause suddenly affecting language would be a migraine headache.
That, it turns out, is what it was. Branson's neurologist in Los Angeles says it was a migraine with aura.
I started to get a really bad headache. And I thought, you're tired, it's been a long day. And around 10 o'clock that night, I was sitting in the live truck with my field producer and the photographer, and I was starting to look at some of my notes. I started to think, the words on the page are blurry, and I could notice that my thoughts were not forming the way they normally do.
When the diagnosis of migraine aura came out, a lot of people probably wondered, why didn't she look like she was in any pain? As we've heard Branson say, she did have a headache, but Dr. Silverman says the severe migraine often sets in after the aura. He hopes people take this as a warning. When stroke-like symptoms occur, call 911, because time is of the essence. Dr. Silverman is the medical director of the Stroke Center at Hartford Hospital. He says that because migraine aura and stroke symptoms are very much the same, you have to treat it as the most serious condition, as a stroke, until you know better. Call 911. Mike?
Very important information, and we saw Serene Branson was back at her station today, so how's she doing now?
Well, she says she feels fine now. She wasn't at work, though. She came in to do that interview with their anchor to talk about what happened, because so many people were concerned about what happened. Says she feels fine, but it'll be a few days before she goes back to work, and today was the first time that she had watched that video of herself that night. She said her doctor recommended she stay away from it for the time being, because she just didn't need the stress as she recovered from that incident.
Well, I'm glad she's doing better, and being in our business, Brian, I certainly feel some sympathy for her, and I think we can both relate on one level or another.
Oh, you know what? We all would have tried to persevere. We all try to do what we have to do at any given moment, you know, no matter what the circumstances. So I think we can all relate to. She wanted to do her job, and how frustrating it must have been and frightening that she couldn't get the words out. Like she said, knew the word for Grammy, knew that's the word she wanted to use, couldn't get it out. Frightening.
All right, Brian, thanks very much for that report.